In this video, we're going to look at how to edit menus in Evance. This here is the primary menu for this website. Let's look in the backend to see how we would edit this menu. Well, here we are in the backend of Evance, and to edit the menu, you can see that we have to go to the content management area, and you get here by clicking on the content management symbol on the left. And then here you can see menus. So if we click on menus, you can see that for this site, the zero theme, there's just the option of primary menu. And let's look at the website and see why that is. You can see on zero that there is only the primary menu. There is a menu at the bottom here in the footer, however this menu is controlled via a CMS area rather than a menu item. So let's look at another site. Now this is Stripe. You can see that Stripe actually has a menu strip up here, the categories menu here, and also a footer links down here, and that's reflective within the menus editor on the Stripe theme. So I'll show you in the back end what that looks like. Well, here we are in the back end of the Evance for the Stripe theme, and you can see that you have the footer links, the shop categories, and the menu strip. So the items that are available to you are determined by the theme itself. Let's go back to the zero theme. Okay, so you can see here that we have the primary menu. So if we go into the primary menu, you can see the navigation items as they appear on the front end. So top to bottom, home down to contact, is how they appear from left to right on the website, as you can see here. Now let's look at how to add a new menu node. So let's add a new node, and you can see the different options that it gives us. So you can either add a page, so that means it's an information page such as an About Us page, or you can drop that down and select category. So this would be a product category from your shop. And then the other option you have is custom. Now that means you can put any link you like in there, and also you can specify the link text. However, if you were to choose something like page or category, then the link text itself is determined by the page. Let's go down and look at some of the other options. Okay, so the next thing is, do we want to show child hierarchy? Now what that means is if you have sub pages of a page, then the children will show in the menu, and the options below here describe how those children show. So for example, if we were adding a page which was an About Us page, and that in turn had children, and the children may be about the company or terms and conditions or various other sub-pages, then we could either choose to show those sub-pages as a flyout menu, which is commonly known as a drop-down menu, or indeed as a mega menu. Now these are typically shown on e-commerce websites that show multiple categories. Or you can have a grid menu. Now these are good for things like blog posts. Now down here we have control over how many child nodes we have, what the child sequence is, and how many tiers we have. So what does that mean? Well, the maximum child nodes means how many levels of child pages do you show. So if you had an area that has 100 child pages, you probably wouldn't want to show all of them. You'd probably want to show maybe just the first 10. Child sequence, you can either show it by hierarchy, as in how those pages are ordered within the content management system or within the categories, or by the publishing date, so the date at which that document or web page has been published. And here you can decide how many tiers you want. So what that means is if you have a page with a subpage, and that subpage in turn has subpages which in turn has subpages, well, how many tiers of subpages do you want to show within your menu? You don't want hundreds of flyout menus, so you have to decide where you want it to stop. And then let's come down to custom classes. Now this is a little bit more advanced and is used to control things like the mega menu, so controlling columns within a mega menu. I think we'll do a separate video on that later. And it's also used if you want to block a click event on a top level menu item. So for example, if you have a top level menu item that has children but you don't really want to allow people to click on the very top one because maybe there's no information within that page, then you can put a block click event on there. So let's have a look at how some of these things will look on the front end. So if we have a look at the Stripe theme, you can see that a flyout menu can be shown here. So you can see that it's a simple straight down menu, which is a standard drop down. Sub pages will fly out to the right here. But an example of a mega menu is makeup. So you can see that makeup has subcategories, which in turn have their own subcategories. Or you have a grid menu. Now these are good for things like blog posts. What I want to do is to demonstrate how to add a couple of menu nodes. So for the demonstration purposes, we're going to add a category here, which is going to be called Suits, which will appear between Home and Suit Hire. And I'm also going to add an information page which has sub-pages, and we're going to add it around this area of the site, and it's going to be called About, and that will have sub-pages about the company. So let's go back into the back end of Evance to see how we're going to do that. So back within the primary menu, we're going to add a new node. Okay, and the first one we're going to add is the category page. So we'll select category, and this will be the category of suits. So we'll start typing suits, and you can see that the options come up. So we're going to select suits. Now we do want it to appear within the same window, and we do want it to show hierarchy. However, this category doesn't actually have sub-pages or subcategories. We're going to leave that ticked just in case that if in the future we do add subcategories, that they will automatically show and we won't have to go back. So that's all we really have to do here, and then we will click Save. Now you can see that it's added Suits right at the top, but we want to add it between Home and Suit Hire. So all we do is simply take it and drag it down to the correct position. Now let's go and see how that looks on the front end of the site. Here we are on the front end, and you can see that Suits has been added. But let's go and add our About Us page. Still within the menu editor, we add another menu node, and this time we're going to keep it as page, and we're going to search for About, and here's the page that we're looking for. And we do want to show the child hierarchy because this does in fact have child pages, and we're going to still show it as a flyout menu. Let's press Save. And again that appears at the top of the list, so let's drag it down. And we'll add it, let's say, between Events and Blog. There we go. And now let's have a look at that on the front end of the website again. So I've just refreshed that page, and you can see that the item now appears at the top, and that item has a drop down. Now let's click on one of these pages. So let's click on Our Price Guarantee. Okay, this is a very simple page, but what I wanted to demonstrate is that on the left hand side you have another menu. Now this menu is inbuilt into the template that runs this page, so this isn't actually run from the menus editor. This is automatically generated based on its parent page and its sibling pages. So if we have a look at this, you can see that it has wholesale first, then company, then our price, and so on. Now let's go in the back end, and let's go to the content management area and scroll down to the About page. Now if we click on the plus, we can see its children. So you can see here are the pages, and if we were to rearrange these pages, that would also rearrange how the pages are shown within the menu on the page itself. So if I was to move Our Price Guarantee up to the top and then go back onto the front end, if I now refresh the page, you can see that this page, Our Price Guarantee, appears at the top of the navigation, and that will be maintained if I click through to some of the other pages as well.